we've talked about this spottingly as stories have arisen. Certainly began during 2020 and 2021 when just about everybody was in some form of remote or hybrid work. And we began to see patterns of, certainly in the technology space, people working two jobs. We've talked about on this program, we called it professional polygamy, right? You're cheating on, you got them sister wives. I think that was a popular show on HBO. Yet the multiple wives, multiple companies. And so this is more and more thing. And it's now being called overemployment. Overemployment, which I think is a silly term because at Ramsey Solutions, we'll give advice to people all the time. You're trying to get out of debt and save money, working 2 and 3 jobs. But when we say that, we're talking about one full-time job and then you're working 2 or 3 other jobs on the side. That's what we prescribe. But almost 2 in 5 Americans are working a full-time second job. So they're working 2 full-time jobs. And it's not what you think here if you're thinking, oh, wow, these people are really hard workers. They might be, but this is not 80 hours a week. Essentially, they are putting in a 40-hour week and they are working for 2 different companies and the companies do not know about each other. So my team brought me a video clip of some man on the street type stuff. Like in this case, it's a woman on the street. And listen to this, and we'll come back to this new trend. Watch this.
I'm a software engineer.
And you have more than one job?
Yes, I'm overemployed at 2 companies.
2 full-time jobs?
Correct.
How much do you make at both and then combined?
At one, it's $125, and at another, it's $112 base plus 20 RSUs and 10 sign-on.
So over $200K easy.
Yeah, definitely over $200K easy.
How did you get into this? Like, what did you study in college? How long have you been doing it?
I studied computer science in college. I've been doing it for a little bit less than a year. I don't even sign on to one of them. I just chill. One is a huge corporate America company. I think they have so many people that you just get lost in the system. I do expect to get fired on my 1-year anniversary, if not sooner, but they should have fired me after a month, so I'm really grateful for them. And I have the backup, which I actually work and I actually love, and 100% do.
Okay, this is, I love the sweet interviewer who's like, oh, you're going to get fired. She's like, no, I should have gotten fired a month in because I don't even sign in. So it's obviously some type of tech sign-in, and we don't see the gal who's being interviewed, but she just comes right out and says it. I should have gotten fired a month in. I don't sign in. How tragic is this? Large company. And she just comes right out and says it. I think they're so big that they don't even care. Oh my goodness. And best I could tell, depending on the number she gave us, one is 125 and the other with bonuses and sign-on is nearing 140, 150,000. So it's mind-boggling to me, first of all, that companies would pay someone over 6 figures. Listen, pay someone $10,000 and they haven't signed in over a year. It's preposterous to me that people would waste that kind of money, but it's happening more than we think. So in this situation, she's really not doing any work at all for the one, and she likes the other job. Fascinating. What do you think? Do you think that's okay if the company doesn't even know that she signed in? Or they may know, the leader knows but doesn't care? Is this a problem? In this case, it's normally I'd say I think you're stealing from somebody. I don't know if she is. It feels like they're giving her the money. I don't know if she's stealing. Feels like they're just going, here you go. I mean, if in the first month you expected to get fired because you hadn't signed on and you've not heard anything and it's almost a year, I'm not so sure that she will get fired. What's that annual review going to be like? So, hey, this is the first time we've ever talked. What? It's mind-boggling to me. Into the numbers of Americans who are working 2 full-time jobs at the same time. They're cheating on both companies. 37% of respondents to a January 23 poll from Monster admitted to having more than one full-time job. And among those who only work one full-time job, most, 57%, said they'd consider adding another job. So if people aren't doing it, they're thinking about it. Professional polygamy is running wild. And you know why? It can, because company leaders are so detached. And certainly even with hybrid work or remote work, it's entirely doable. I mean, they don't know what you're doing. They don't know if you're at the coffee shop, walking the dog, on the playground with your kids. They don't know because they can't see you. So why are people doing this? This is interesting. Let's get into why. Americans are doubling up only because their primary job isn't providing enough money to make ends meet. Is that the case? I'm suspicious. Ends meet based on your spending habits and what you want to live like? Or if you lived on a really tight budget, does your primary job take care of your needs? Do you have a bunch of debt? Are you carrying around car payments, massive credit card debt? If that's the case in this situation, that's on you. It's interesting to me on what Americans will do to live the lifestyle they want that they can't afford, and then they get themselves in a situation like this to where they're lying, cheating on other companies. Almost half of the respondents said they're worried their current job will lay them off, and they're seeking another as a backup plan. Now, the challenge with this is that if you are, and not in this young gal's case that we were listening to, but let's say you are working 50, 60 hours, you're going to burn out pretty quick. How much time do you have for your family life? How much time do you have for exercise and eating right? And are you sleeping well? This has profound impact on you. It's also legally really gray. Many companies have HR policies in place that prohibit employees from working another role in the same industry. So if you were to be found out, and we shared stories on this program where people have been caught, you could have a really negative situation on your hands. Could be sued, certainly fired on the spot, lose benefits, all kinds of things. Not a good look. Now, this is interesting. More in line with the testimony that we saw on the video. 20% said they simply were not busy enough at their full-time gig to justify not making the most of their time. In fact, 35% of workers reported working fewer than 30 hours per week in their primary role. Oh my gosh. I mean, is this not mismanagement on steroids? Are you kidding me? Yeah, I mean, I'm only working 30 hours a week. I got to make some more money. I'm not doing anything here. Literally paid to not work full time. It's mind-blowing to me, the corporate waste. I would love to see, Alex, the CEOs and board members of some of these companies with these testimonies. They'd freak out. This is all about leadership and management and systems and processes that allow this kind of stuff to go on. So, do I think it's shady? Do I think it's professional polygamy? Yes, I do. Do I think it could harm you with real burnout and a whole host of other negative impact on your personal life if you're working those crazy hours? Yes. Do I understand if you're getting paid to do nothing, that you're tempted to work another full-time job and sock some money away? Yeah, I understand it. I got a little Robin Hood complex. I'm torn. I get it. If your boss and your company is dumb enough to pay you full-time like this one gal, and she hasn't signed on in a year, well, then maybe she should take their money and stack it. I don't know. I'm so confused over the whole story. What do you say? I want to know in the comments. Let me know what you think about it. Is this the future, or is this corporate malfeasance and just nonsense run amok? I don't know. It's crazy. I need some time to think, folks. My head's about to explode. This is the Ken Coleman Show.